are live. Hi everybody, good afternoon. I'm Trina Searcy. You're on Trina's Tip Tuesday. I'm your real estate resource, and I've got my friend with me today, Drew Smith. He's from Smith & Smith Contracting.
Good afternoon.
And we're going to talk about some really exciting stuff. Gas. It's actually radon gas. But we're going to talk about it. It's big here in Leon County. Actually, I think our county is one of the highest.
One of the top in Florida.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And that's pretty crazy because I hadn't heard about radon really until the last few years, I guess. And then we started testing for it, and sure enough, it started coming up positive. And then my sellers were like, oh my gosh, what's this? We weren't expecting this expense. What's going on?
Radon's one of those things that you never know where it is. You don't know where it's going to pop up. A lot of people are thinking that this is a new thing. It's been out there for a long time. It's just now that we know more about it and we started testing it more. Radon gas, really it's called, or it comes from uranium. And uranium is in the ground, and it has a half-life of about 50 billion years. But once it starts to break down, it produces other chemicals, and one of those is radon gas. And the radon gas doesn't necessarily hurt you, but it tries to come up through the ground, or it does come up through the ground, and it gets into the air. It's everywhere. I can go outside Keller Williams right now and put a testing kit in the parking lot, and it's going to come up with positive for low amounts of radon gas. The problem is that radon gas, when you breathe it in, it has a short half-life, and it breaks down into alpha rays, gamma rays, and beta rays. And the alpha rays hit into your lungs and can create cancer, and that's why it's important to get tested for radon gas.
So how does it get in your house, though, with all these greenhouses we have where everything's sucked tight and nothing can get in? How does the radon get in there?
I brought my little blocks here, my Jenga blocks, to show you. When you build a house, and there's two ways to build a house, or most common ways. One of them is on grade, and you have a slab. And what they do is they build footers like this in the ground that are actually down into the ground a little bit. And then they come in and they put a concrete pad right on top. And when they do that, what it does is it creates a little pocket underneath this little concrete structure. And when the radon is trying to come up through the ground, if it comes up outside, it just goes into the air and disseminates, but it gets trapped under here because it's trying to rise through the ground. And when it does that, it becomes real concentrated. And then you have plumbing pipes, and you have air vents, you have all these things that are going through the concrete, and it comes up around those. It can come through the concrete, but it eventually has to go somewhere, and it's going to come up at some point in time.
So even with the greenhouses where everything's sealed, it's still going to leak through.
When you fully encapsulate a structure, a crawl space, something like that, it does help. But you still are going to have some holes in your concrete slabs and that sort of thing, and radon can still get in.
Sneak through. Okay, so how do you test for it? How do we know when it's in there? Can we smell it?
Well,
or taste it?
No, you can't.
See it?
No. Okay. It is a gas. It's odorless. It is tasteless. You cannot detect it without putting some sort of testing system in it. And there's three of them that we use. This is a liquid scintillation, and what it does, it has a little a cell in here, and the cell is covered with a type of zinc. And those alpha rays from the radon gas, when they explode, they come down and make a little strike on that zinc, and they pick it up, and you can read the levels of radon. Now, the levels of radon, you want to maintain a house under what's called 4 picocuries of radon. And a picocurie is just the amount of radon in 1 liter of air. And so when they do that, they try to keep them under the 4 liters of radon. This is a canister just full of charcoal, and the radon actually goes into the charcoal. You send these off to a lab. They test them for the radon, and they can tell you how much radon is in the area. And this is the newest kind of system, and this is called a continuous monitoring system. And what it does is it sucks in the air, and it is testing for radon as it goes. And so at the end of a test with this, what you get is a sheet. It just automatically prints out a sheet, and it's going to look like this. And this is your levels of radon. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it changes every hour. It comes up with an average per hour. And every hour, it's a different level. On this particular house, it's everything from 1.6 up to a 4.4. And remember, the 4.4, you want it below that 4 picocuries.
So what makes it change every hour?
There are different
like ceiling
things.
fans, doors opening.
There's all kind of different things. When you have your house built, and that radon's up under here, there are various things. One of them is a negative pressure in the house. We have everything that's trying to vent up through the roof. We have bathroom fans. We have fans over our stoves, as well as heat itself. When air heats, it rises, and everything's pulling up and trying to go up.
Right.
Well, when it leaves the house above you, it's sucking it up below you. So it's sucking up through that thing, and that's why we have such high levels in the houses.
Well, does it matter if you have a slab or a crawl space as to what the levels typically are, like higher or lower, or does it just not matter?
It does kind of.
Okay.
Let's pretend like you have off grade.
Okay.
These are your pillars, and then they come in and they put the floor joists in, and then they put a wood floor right on top of it. If all of this was open around here, the wind would come through and it would blow it, and the gas would go other places. But all around here, for aesthetic reasons, we always close it up. It also holds in heat and that sort of thing in the wintertime. And when you do that, you're building that pocket which the radon gas can get in. Now with a wood floor, if you have a plumber that comes in and puts in a 1/2-inch pipe, well, he's going to drill a 3/4 inch hole through that floor because he wants a little wiggle room so he can attach the top and the bottom
And that's how
of
the
that
gas
pipe.
gets in.
And so therefore, it's coming through those holes. The same thing with any plumbing pipe or air vent. So even on the houses that are on piers have crawl space, you can still have a lot of radon. The highest radon measurement that I've ever tested was on an off-grade house.
Really?
That is correct.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so we have a question that says, how often do we need to test for radon?
The EPA says to test every year. So
Really?
I am going to stick with that because I do
Golly.
not want to say anything against what the EPA
So we could
says.
test year after year after year and not have it, and then all of a sudden have it.
You can.
Okay, so how
That-
do you fix it then? If you have it, then how do you fix it?
There's several ways to fix it.
And it's not called
It-
fixing it, it's
It's called
mitigating it.
it. Let's go back to our slab. If you have your slab and you have your concrete right here, your concrete slab in the middle around your foundation, what we do is we drill a little hole in through the concrete slab. I say a little hole, about a 4-inch hole. We stick PVC down.
Is this a 4-inch hole?
That's a little smaller than a 4-inch hole. This is, the top of this is a 4-inch hole.
Okay.
We stick a PVC pipe down it. We run the PVC outside. This right here is a fan. And what this does, it only blows one way. So it's sucking the air out from underneath the slab. Now, most people say, is that fan really going to work? And my answer to them is, most of the time it does. Very rarely do I find a situation where it doesn't. We can drill a hole on one corner of a room, put the fan on. We can drill a small little hole on this side of the room and light a match, and the smoke goes down this hole and is sucked in.
Oh, that's cool. So you don't hear it running.
You don't hear the fan running. You shouldn't. It has a little hum to it, but we usually try to put them in places where you're not going to hear it running from inside the house.
Okay.
But it does work. Now, on the ones that are on your piers, the off-grade houses, what we do is we come in and we put a barrier on the ground. And so the bottom of the crawl space is encapsulated. It's all covered with this barrier.
Okay.
We silicone all the way around all the piers. This is your floor. And once we have this in place, then we run the pipe underneath the barrier, and it sucks the air out from underneath the barrier. So the barrier is just a way to prepare the ground where we can put a positive or negative force on all of it to suck it out of the house.
Okay, cool. That's cool. So where have you seen the most radon? Is there any places, like when you said off-grade was the highest levels you've seen, that surprised me?
The one particular house
Right.
that I tested was an off-grade house that was the highest. It's in all, I've seen it in all, it was built in 78.
That's not that old.
And it was where I see most of the high levels of radon that I personally see, which has been around the hospital downtown area.
Really?
However, we see radon north of town. All around Tallahassee, we have detected radon. And radon can be in one house, and you go next door and you test it, and you won't find hardly any radon. So it all depends on what the ground's built on, if there's any uranium in that area.
It sounds like pipe clay.
Well, it kind of is. Some houses are on pipe clay.
Veiny.
Some houses are on uranium. That's right. And if it's on uranium, then you're going to have the radon gas coming up through the house.
Okay. How can we contact you if we need a consultation? Because I know my people out here are probably freaking out now.
Well,
Not to scare anybody, we just want you to be aware of it. So to contact Drew, if you do want to have him come test, you would.
you can always call or text
For
me.
free.
The radon test, we charge $140 for the radon test. We are one of the few companies that's actually licensed to not only test for the radon, but we can also install the system. So if radon is in your house, then we can also come in and mitigate it.
Does that vary in price, mitigating? Or
It
is it
does.
just like the fan?
It's usually around $2,000 to mitigate radon. Sometimes it's a little less than that. It depends on
Is there a
the
monthly
house.
fee or anything to run these?
There's no monthly fee. The system is yours. It runs off of electricity, which we run to here. We put a little, and for a lot of y'all realtors that I've had a lot of realtors call and say, will you come test and make sure the system's running properly? I have adjusted this one to what it should look like. This is a liquid inside of the this little unit. And as you can see, it's higher on one side than it is on the other. If it looks like this, it's working, because both of these little tubes right here, we stick into the radon pipe, and every radon system should have one of these. And as long as one side is higher than the other, it means that the system's working and it's pumping out radon.
And every system should have that?
Every system should have one of these.
Okay, so
This is the only way you know that it's really working properly.
So if we are selling a house that already has a system in it, we shouldn't need you to come test again, if that's there.
If this is here and it's working correctly, it should not have radon. However, we've seen some systems that are installed improperly. I was in a house the other day where the radon was being pumped into the attic.
The radon was
The
being
radon
pumped
was
in?
just being pumped into the attic. So there are situations where radon systems have been installed incorrectly. But this is your first test, and this will tell you whether or not the system is on and at least pumping it out of the ground.
Okay, good. All right, so how do we get a hold of you then?
Smith & Smith Contracting, cell number and text 850-251-2680. And email is Drew, D-R-E-W, at smithsmith.net. And you can always get in touch with us by Facebook, our webpage, www.smithsmith.net. And we will be happy to, you can give us a call. We can answer any questions and come out and test for you at any time.
That would be great. Thank you, Drew. And Kylie's passing me a note that says, click the like button and please share this video also. Okay, cool. Thanks, Drew.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. That was good info.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you in a couple weeks.